Okay, so we're gonna make coconut oil fudge. I got this recipe off of ifood.com. It only has 3 ingredients. It's gluten-free, it's dairy-free and vegan, and it's processed sugar-free. It's sweetened with bananas. So the 3 ingredients you're gonna need are coconut oil, cacao or cocoa powder, and what I call sad bananas. So these sad bananas have been in the freezer. So when bananas go sad at our house, we put them in the freezer and we save them for banana pancakes and other things. So in order to get them soft again, I just put them in some warm water for a little while so that they're defrosted. So they're going to be pretty much liquid when I use them. So the recipe calls for 4 sad bananas, 3/4 of a cup of coconut oil, which you melt, which I already did. So it goes from being that white to sort of a clear liquid. It's nice and thick. And a 1/2 cup of the cacao or cocoa powder. So all you do is you got to use your sad bananas. And what I do for turning my sad bananas out is I just rip a little hole in the end and I literally squeeze my banana into the food processor. So this is also a no-cook recipe. You will need a food processor though, or maybe a blender would work. There's 2. These are sort of a medium-sized banana. 3, and you can sort of just squeeze them out. It doesn't matter that they're super mush. It helps the blending process quite a bit actually. And hear them squishing out there. 4, and you want to make sure you get all of that sweetness out of there. Okay, and then we'll set those peels aside. We are gonna then add our melted coconut oil. Again, that was 3/4 of a cup. I really like the Trader Joe's. It seems to give sort of the best texture for this. And then, last but not least, of course, what gives it the fudgy flavor is a 1/2 cup of the coconut or cacao powder. I really like this one. It's Organic Superfood by Sow and Bloom. It just has a nice rich flavor, so that's going in here. And try not to pour it onto the little stump of the food processor, because obviously that part doesn't mix well. So put your lid on. I don't have the little stopper that goes in, so I just put my hand over it. And you're going to blend. So once you've blended a little bit, you're going to take your little rubber spatula and sort of scrape everything away from the edges. If there's any of that cocoa powder on top of the stem that sticks up in there, you want to do that. Just make sure everything's getting blended up well. Take that guy out, and then we're going to give it one more blend. In the meantime, while it was blending, you could cut a piece of parchment paper to put in the bottom of your 8x8 pan, because that would keep it from sticking to the bottom. We want to super blend it. Give it the creamiest texture that we can. Okay, when you feel like that's fully blended, pop that lid off. Okay, we're going to take, I have scissors in here right now so that the parchment wouldn't peel up while I was busy doing other things, and I'm just going to start to pour that in. It's kind of the texture or consistency of chocolate frosting, and it smells a little bit like chocolate frosting. When I'm all done putting this in the pan, I'm going to pop it in the freezer for 2 or 3 hours. So we have a chest freezer. That seems to work really well because you can set it in there and you know it's not going to shift or move and be a little bit protected. Get the most of it out, and then you'll take the blade out as well. Clean that guy up a bit. Set it in there for a second. Get the rest of this using your scraper. You really don't want to miss any of this because it's really good, unless of course you have someone helping you and they want to lick it, because it's pretty tasty. And obviously you can't eat the fudge until it's frozen, but this is a way to hold you over in case you can't wait. Sometimes it's hard to wait once you smell the goodness of that chocolate. Okay, and then take this guy and carefully, because obviously it's got a cutting blade, clean this guy off as best you can. This is where it helps to have a child around that wants to lick around that blade. And do the very best you can to get the most of that. Okay, it's a little tricky to spread it, but do the best you can to kind of get it in a thin layer in the bottom. And it's going to be pretty thin. It should be about 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick all around it. And again, this is going to have to go in the freezer for 2 or 3 hours. And then when you take it out, take the whole thing with the parchment and all out. It's easier that way. And then put it on a big cutting board, use a big knife. And if you need to, you can always get the knife a little warm under hot water, and that will help with cutting through it when it's pretty solid, okay? So you're gonna do the best you can to get that spread out. Scrape the rest off your finger, unless you're gonna lick. Maybe I'll do that. And it's gonna look like that, and then you're gonna pop it in the freezer, and that's all. And then when you take it out, cut it up, and it can store in the freezer for probably a few weeks. So enjoy.